The Netflix filmed an adaptation to Shakespeare's play Henry IV and Henry V. There are modern-day adaptations such as The Hollowed Crown that stay true to the play, while Joel Egerton's adaptation changes a commentary on English history into a character study of a young monarch. The setup of the Netflix original takes from the play Henry IV. Both establish a friendship between Prince Hal and Falstaff, one that consists of drinking and clowning. In the play, as well as The Hollowed Crown, Henry finally decides to take up the responsibility of being a future king, while in the Netflix version it is implied that he has no intention of pursuing the throne, and is only there to protect his brother. When Henry's brother and father eventually pass away, he is forced to take up the crown. Upon taking up the crown, the Dauphin sends him a ball in order to taunt him. This is consistent with the events of The Hollowed Crown, which keeps to the play Henry V. In the two versions, Henry has different reactions to this gift. In one, he aligns his motives with the clergy and then puts the responsibility of lives lost on the archbishop. He does this again when he gets the gift from the Dauphin, saying that the Dauphin is forcing his hand.
Tell the pleasant prince, this mock of his hath turned his balls to gunstones, and his soul shall stand sore charged for the wasteful vengeance that shall fly with them.
In The King, he decides to ignore the barb and the archbishop and decides to focus on the civil strife in England that he believes is caused by his father.
But my strength does not lie in me flapping up and down at the slightest barb like some unholy mechanical bird. Make sense of this. This is what is pressing.
Regardless of their attitudes, both Henrys decide upon war after they execute former friends that are found out to be traitors as a sign of strength toward the French king. As the story goes on, the king continues to take more liberties with its adaptation. In The King, the character of Falstaff plays a vital role, while in the original version he is killed off and doesn't make an appearance. In the play, he is said to have died from the betrayal he felt after King Henry abandons him.
He's very ill.
By my troth, he'll yield the crow a pudding one of these days. The king has killed his heart.
In The King, he turns toward Falstaff because he wants a voice on the council that he can trust.
To steer our present course, I've been forced to rely upon the counsel of men whose loyalty I question every waking moment. Every waking moment.
Because of this, the two Henrys come across very differently. One is seen as abandoning his childish friends to become the king he's supposed to be, while the other is seen as already feeling the overwhelming pressures of being the king. These two versions of Henry are carried out in their respective stories. At Harfleur, we see the play version of Henry set up and deliver his "Once more unto the breach, dear friends" speech.
Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead.
While the other version debates whether or not to continue the siege and raid Harfleur, only to be ended by an anticlimactic surrender.
Our debate now, it seems, is for nothing. As are the Archbishop's bleatings.
Following these events, Play Henry must execute two of his former friends for looting, while Netflix Henry is taunted by the Dauphin in person and on their march further into France. Play Henry is again forced to choose between kingly duty and his former friends. He passes this test, while the other version of Henry continues to crack under pressure. He deals out harsh punishments for his guards and wants to execute the French prisoners and exhibits his frustrations with Falstaff.
Double the darts to 20 yards through the night. 3 hours at a watch. These men fresh and alert, and any man caught sleeping will have his eyes gouged. And any caught speaking will lose his tongue.
The harsh dealings of Henry in the play show that he is willing to set his personal feelings aside. The Netflix version does the opposite. It shows Henry responding to the Dauphin with emotion that is out of character and puts himself at risk of becoming the very thing he was trying to avoid. On the eve of the Battle of Agincourt, the Henry in the Hollowed Crown disguises himself and walks among the commoners. He hears the soldiers' different opinions about the king. The character Pistol admires him, while some other soldiers question the king's motives. In The King, King Henry listens to a divided council and makes his choice only after Sir John speaks up and insists upon his plan. Soon after, he expresses to John that he questions why they are here.
Here we are on the eve of this fight, and I am scared to wonder, to tell it true, why we are here.
This is similar to the question of motive the soldiers have in the play. The difference lies in who Henry believes to hold moral responsibility. Hiddleston's Henry believes in the Canterbury's justification and believes that he is rightful king of France, while Chalamet's Henry feels the weight of the gamble he's taking. In the Hollow Crown, Henry delivers the Band of Brothers speech, feeling that his battle is being done in righteous action.
We few. We happy few. We band of brothers.
While the speech in The King is lackluster, the phrase, "Make it England," is almost as if Henry is asking his men to find a reason to fight.
Fight not for yourselves! Fight for that space! Fill that space! Make it tissue! Make it mass! Make it impenetrable! Make it yours! Make it England! Make it England!
The Band of Brothers speech gives the audience a feeling that this battle matters, so the men should fight hard, as opposed to the other speech, which leaves the audience with the feeling that these men are fighting, so they need to come up with a reason why it matters. When the two renditions come to a close, they do so in a fashion that fulfills the characters they've laid out before them. In the play, Henry feels accomplished. He did what he set out to do and moved on to court the Princess of France. The scene ends with himself in Burgundy making crude sex jokes, showing that although he can be a good husband, he still views her as his last conquest. The king ends with Henry revealing that he finds out that his advisors have been traitorous. His fear that this may have all been in vain seems to have come true. He sacrificed men and his most trusted friend in the process. He sees marrying the French princess as an opportunity to start the only honest relationship he might have as king. No longer being able to trust friends, advisors, or bishops, he turns away from men that see him as an opportunity, and to a wife who will be there to help preserve his kingdom in a way his father could not.